Okay, Q20 family, let's go for a night ride. Let's get that light on. Alright, going for a night ride. A few thoughts on riding the Q20 here. One, the headlight is pretty darn good. It's nice, it's bright, and one of the things is that when I put the light on the front of the bike, just to eliminate any vibration, I put the light up high against the cabling that comes down from the brakes and the LCD screen, and having that contact on there helps to kind of keep the headlight from doing any kind of bouncing and dancing around. That's worked really well. Additionally, I mentioned before that although this kind of has that off-road look, it's really not much in the way of off-roading. And I don't know if you can see these little potholes, but up at speed hitting them, it's pretty easy to bottom out the fork. I've said it before, this is not an off-roading bike. I've seen some videos out there where people will go out and ride them on some, you know, dirt pathways and things, but I guess everybody has their own thinking as to what a off-roading, you know, ride would be like. And I'm out here in Utah, where kind of coming from a background of rock crawling and Jeeps and everything, and riding the mountains, and you know, dirt paths of Florida don't quite you know, make it in my mind for being off-roading. So my point with the front fork so easily compressed, one of the things that I do is I ride with my butt sitting further back on the seat to help keep that weight off of the front end, so that I'm not going to end up bottoming it out. Now I could, you know, help that further by putting the handlebars more in a upright position, or I could also go to a shorter stem to again bring it more upright, transfer weight to the back. But I do keep it the way it is because I'm coming from a background of racing mountain bikes, and the stock stem kind of puts me in a position that feels more natural to me for how I like to ride. I guess it's you know, 40 plus years of sitting in a given position. It's just what feels natural. So I find that you know, get my butt back on that seat helps to transfer some of the weight off of the front, helps to minimize out the bottoming out. The tires, these are the stock ones. There's been a whole slew of people as of recently that have had these stock tires rip out on them, and I've mentioned it before that they're pretty paper thin. They're kind of like a mountain bike tire, enlarged but not beefed up, and as a result, people that have had their tires ripped out, it's been as a result of just hitting a semi-sharp rock and it just tears the tire up. So knowing that, I have my Ultraverse tires that I'll be putting on very soon. In the meanwhile though, before I even get to that point, my son-in-law ordered the same tires because his tires were just, you know, he wasn't quite happy with them. And so he threw the Ultraverses on, and one of the things that he really liked about them is that it's got really good traction to them. And then the other thing is that they're nice and beefy, they're hefty, and so they're really good in that way if you're kind of waiting to, you know, hear what I think of the Ultraverses. The one downside, which is to be expected, because as I've said, these stock tires, they're paper thin, and as a result, they rip out pretty easy. And so what he noticed is in his round trip with his bike, he's found that he lost about 3-4 miles off of his total range due to the fact that the tire is a much heavier tire than the stock ones. Now, I'm not going to call it a heavy tire per se, but it is heavier than the paper thin tires that come stock. So overall, he loves the tires. They work great, but you are going to lose a little bit off of your total weight, or excuse me, your total mileage that you're going to see from the tires. They do ride well comparatively to the stock tires that you receive with your Ridstar. Comparatively, these stock knobbies have a bit more hum than what the Ultraverse tires do. So, that's a plus, but they roll well, and both of us think that these tires, the Ultraverse, will be really good for when winter arrives and we have the snow and passing through that. So there we go. Well, I'm at my stop, or at least the first half of this ride, so I'm gonna go ahead and park, and then I'll rejoin you in a moment, and we'll head back home, and I'll share some more thoughts on the Ridstar here. And this is my Kohlberg lock. Absolutely love it. It's a good heavy 5-pound lock, but lock and chain combo. But one of the beautiful things that I have found with it is that is the perfect length to wrap around the top bar of the bike. There we go. Okay, into the store. Whew. There we go. A little chilly out, not too bad though. Real trick to riding in the cold though is making sure that one, having the proper insulation underneath, but most importantly is making sure that your outer layer has that wind protection, because even though right now it's 36 degrees out, which is not real bad, not bad at all. If I can keep the wind out of it all, then it's not bad at all. And so making sure that outer layer is good is absolutely paramount. I do love this Kohlberg lock, but one of the things is that you unfortunately can't take the keys out unless you lock the mechanism shut, and so sometimes that can be a little bit of a pain. But let's fire up. There we go. And currently I have, and I'm planning on keeping it on, I have the aftermarket LCD on the bike. And one of the things that I really like about the aftermarket LCD, as opposed to the stock LCD or the stock replacement, if you happen to be one of those people that have the LCDs that failed, those LCDs unfortunately reset each time you turn them on and off, and so you have to change your levels and everything. My aftermarket LCD display retains the last setting that I was on, so the fact that I'm running a level 4, when I start up, it stays at level 4. And the other benefit is that what was the other benefit of this one? Oh, the other benefit of this one is that it's just so much smaller, a lot less light coming off of it. One of the things that I do notice though on this aftermarket LCD is that the battery gauge works a little different. The stock LCD would stay like full forever, and then eventually it starts coming down. And I mean, I think everybody kind of knows they're inaccurate. The aftermarket LCD, well, it's equally as inaccurate, but in a different way. And it seems to be more indicative of fluctuating based on how much you hammer down on the throttle. So right now it's sitting at full, and then as I go full throttle on it, you'll see the battery dip. It's dipping down, dipping down, dipping down. The battery is not actually going down. And so I kind of think of it more as it's showing me how much I'm actually pulling from it. And with that said, it's a better gauge to know the miles that your bike's gonna run. And with this Q20, and it's not the Pro model, with this Q20 model, I find that I can safely run 25 miles with this. And so, you know, I just operate off of that. I also will use the voltmeter to kind of keep an eye on that. Now, you know, I think that all in around is just a better measure, but just know that you're probably going to see about 25 miles, give or take. If you live in a particularly hillier area, of course, you're going to see less. Or if you live there in Florida, you're going to see more miles because of how incredibly flat Florida is. But between the displays, I really prefer the smaller display of the aftermarket there. Let's see, what else am I thinking? Oh, my rocket cage. Rocket cage. Oh, there you go. You could hear that bottoming out of the shock, and I didn't hit a particularly deep or sharp hole, and that's what I'm talking about. This is not an off-road bike. Funny thing is 2 nights in a row I've hit that stupid thing. The cage rocket, or rocket cage, I apologize, I can't remember which order the name is. Loving it, working well, doesn't ever attract any attention, meaning nothing's rattling, banging. It has really worked out well. Absolutely love it. The other thing is, and you know what, I'm going to circle back for a moment just so you can see in case you missed it. I have ordered a speaker that mounts onto my handlebar. You'll see it there. This is the speaker. I have it in black. And the speaker is IP65 waterproof, and it goes onto the handlebars. It's kind of tough fitting it. I think it would better fit where I have the LCD, but unfortunately that's not going to work. But with the provided rubber bushings and everything, it fits, you know, just fine where it's at. Has awesome volume to it. I wear a motorcycle helmet in the winter to keep myself nice and warm, and in spite of having the helmet on, I can still clearly hear the music coming off of this speaker. And it also includes a microphone, and with that microphone you can you know, talk on the phone, and it works. Now up at full speed, running at 25 miles an hour, you can talk to somebody, but as my wife has told me, it gets a little bit too loud that, you know, it's not good. But down around 15 miles an hour works very well. And so I'm absolutely loving the speaker. Now, it's nice having the tunes to ride by, but that's actually not the reason why I got it. I got it because when I'm riding on the trails and I come up on somebody, I hate the idea of blowing this little horn on the bike, because the horn, and here it is, it's just so loud and nasty, and I really don't want to, you know, come up on people, honk that horn, and you know, and upset people. And so what I do instead is I play the music on the speaker, And you know, it lets everybody know that I'm coming well ahead of time. There it is. Lets everybody know well ahead of time that I'm coming, but it's a whole lot friendlier to let people know. And like I said, I enjoy listening to the tunes, and I can also you know, talk on the phone with it. So that speaker is really nice, and I'll include the link below and be doing a specific video on it, but I figured I'd mention it. It's pretty awesome. So overall, I'm somewhere around 400 miles in total now between the various LCDs, which resets your mileage. And I'm somewhere around 400 miles to date. My only issue has been the fact that my LCD had went out, and my gripe would be the front fork is so easily bottomed out. It is not a fork for off-roading. I'm not going to go changing it anytime soon, just for the simple fact that as a commuter, it works well, and if I could just learn to quit hitting the same stupid hole, I wouldn't have that problem. So there you have it, Q20 family. Ride safe.